Back here with more Week 4 action in the XLB as the Boise Ninjas get set to take on the Sacramento Bees. And that is the Rattlers logo up there instead of the Bees. How did that happen? I'll fix that. As the Ninjas come into today with a record of 1-2, Sacramento 0-3, both teams in the West. So both teams looking to get off the schneid here, as it'll be Lucas Giolito on the mound for the Ninjas from the Boston Red Sox, and Brayan Bello on the mound for the Bees, also from the Red Sox. So a couple Red Sox pitchers going up against one another here. Legends on the Ninjas include Ichiro Suzuki and Randy Johnson. And for the Bees, it's Evan Longoria and Albert Bell. I control both teams, but my brother here helping to run the scoreboard. And if there's any home runs, we'll throw those up there too. As Week 4 action continues along here, it's going to be Ichiro Suzuki leading off against Brayan Bello. And Bello will throw a wild pitch. And it comes back to Bello. And this time he will get Ichiro to fly out to deep right to get this one underway. One down as Yandy Diaz is at the plate. Bello will strike out Diaz. Both of these teams looking to get some kind of offense going here as they came into this one struggling. Boise batting 208, Sacramento batting 151 coming into today. Bello against Judge. And Bello, it ain't happening for the Ninjas here in the top of the first as they go 1-2-3, and Bello gets out of it. Bottom of one we go, where Nico Herner leads off against Lucas Giolito. And Herner with a double to lead things off. Almost. That'll bring up Evan Longoria against Giolito with a man on second. And Giolito will give up a single into left to Longoria. Two batters, two hits, and Albert Bell up, 2 on. Nobody out for Bell against Giolito. And Giolito will get Bell to pop up to second. That'll move the infield back to normal depth now as Drake Baldwin's at the plate. Giolito will give up a single into left to Baldwin, and that'll score Herner. So the Bees get a run on the board. That is their second run plated this season in week number 4. Gunnar Henderson at the plate, 2 on, 1 down. And Gunnar will strike out. First strikeout for Giolito. 2 down now for Ben Rice. And Ben. How's that? We're going to take this one up and deep and yard. Ben Rice drives in Longoria and Baldwin with a homer. A 3-run shot off the bat of Ben Rice.
No, not the Bees! Not the Bees! Ah!
A buzzing blast for Ben Rice. And it is 4-0 here in the first. Corbin Carroll at the plate with 2 down against Giolito. And Giolito, a pass ball. It'll come back to Giolito. And he will get Carroll this time to ground out to short. But 4 runs put on the board by the Bees here in the first. And the Ninjas find themselves in a hole here early on. Brayan Bello comes out to take on the heart of the lineup. Bregman set to lead off for the Ninjas. And Bello will give up an infield single to Bregman. And Bregman, kind of the one shining spot for this Ninjas team. He came into today batting .417 on the season. Gets on with the infield single there. Hunter Goodman at the plate now against Bello. And Bello will give up a single to Goodman, yeah. So now 2 on for Wilson Contreras. And Bello will give up a single into center to Contreras. So back-to-back-to-back singles. And the infield has to move in for Bryce Turang now. Bello will strike out Turang. And they go back to double play depth now as L.A. De La Cruz steps up to the plate. First strikeout of the day for Bello. De La Cruz is out of there as he will pop up to the catcher. So now 2 down. Bases loaded for Trent Grisham. And Bello will get out of this one as that lines out to third. So he puts on bases loaded, nobody out, and Bello gets out of it. The Ninjas can't play to run. And bottom of 2 we go, where Brent Rooker will lead off against Giolito. And Rooker is out of there as he grounds back to the pitcher. And you don't want to get an error on that card. Stephen Kwan at the plate. Giolito will get Kwan to pop up to first. 2 down here in the second for Nico Herner. Giolito will strike out Herner, and that'll be the end of 2. Top of 3 we go. Let's take a look at the schedule here for week number 4 as we roll right along with XLB action. There you see all the games taking place this week and where they will be. Buys this week include the Danville Dairy Daddies, as well as the Louisville Lost Boys. Top of 3, Ichiro Suzuki set to lead off for the Ninjas against Brayan Bello. And Ichiro will strike out. There's not many legends you'd say you don't want to get a PBBD on their card, but he is one. Just not a power hitter. Yandy Diaz. Yandy will take a walk. So Bello puts Yandy Diaz on. That'll bring up Aaron Judge with a runner on first. Bello will get Judge to ground out to short, and that's a double play. Bottom of 3 we go. Evan Longoria set to lead off against Giolito. And Evan will take a walk. First walk of the day issued by Giolito will bring up Albert Bell. Runner on first. Giolito will get Bell to ground out to third. OBRA at... Nope. There is a double play. So Giolito gets the ground ball out, and Drake Baldwin is up at the plate now. A wild pitch from Giolito comes back to him, and then he will walk Drake Baldwin. That makes sense. He had a wild pitch. Why would you swing? Gunnar Henderson up. 1 on, 2 down. Giolito will walk Henderson. Third walk issued in this inning by Giolito. We'll bring up Ben Rice, who homered in the first. And Ben Rice will be out of there as he grounds out to short, and that will end the inning. Top of 4 we go, where Alex Bregman leads off for the Ninjas against Brayan Bello. And Bello will get Bregman to ground out to the catcher. 1 down here, top of 4, Hunter Goodman at the plate. Goodman is out of there as he will ground out back to the pitcher. 2 down for Wilson Contreras. And Wilson Contreras will take that ball high and deep, and he will put the Ninjas on the board with a solo shot here in the 4th as Brayan Bello gives up his first run of the game. 4-1 score on the board. There's Contreras Finally gets to Bello. A strike from the dark from Contreras. That'll bring up Turang. 2 down, nobody on. Turang is out of there, as it is a first baseman to the pitcher. But 1 run up. Bring up Corbin Carroll against Lucas Giolito. Giolito will get Carroll. Grounded out to third. And that's 1 down. Bring up Brent Rooker. Giolito will get Rooker to fly out to deep left. They'll bring up Stephen Kwan with 2 down. And Kwan will smack a single into center. 5th hit of the day given up by Giolito. And that'll bring up Nico Herner at the top of the lineup. And Giolito will get Herner to ground out back to him to end the 4th inning. Rolling right along. Here we go to the top of the 5th, where L.A. De La Cruz will lead off against Brayan Bello. And Bello will walk De La Cruz. Just a second walk for Bello. De La Cruz will take off for second. Runner out stealing. So 1 down. We really got to keep track of caught stealing, but it's too late now. Trent Grisham, 1 down. Bello will strike out Grisham. Just the 3rd strikeout for Bello. As back to the top of the lineup, and Ichiro Suzuki. And Ichiro will smack a single into left. And he'll take off for second. Runner picked off. So he puts 2 on, but he gets them both out. And that'll do it for the top of the 5th. The bottom of 5 we go, where Evan Longoria will lead off against Lucas Giolito. Giolito will walk Evan Longoria. 4th walk of the day, and that'll bring up Albert Bell. Action starting up in the Boise bullpen. Giolito will get Bell to ground out to first. And he is safe at first. So 1 down, 1 on for Drake Baldwin. Giolito will walk Baldwin. 5th walk for Giolito. And that'll bring up Gunnar Henderson with 2 on and 1 down. Giolito will get him. G by 6. Batter safe. Runner on first, out at second. So 2 on, 2 down for Ben Rice. Giolito will get Rice to ground out to third. No air. So kind of got himself in a mess, but he winds up getting himself out of said mess. Does Giolito. Top of 6 we go. Let's take a look at the MVP race through 3 weeks of the season. As you can see, some guys who have had a good start to the year. Nobody on the Ninjas or the Bees, but that could change as the season goes on. Larry Walker, Ketel Marte, Barry Bonds, and Teoscar Hernandez, your top 4 in the MVP standings right now. We'll see how their Week 4 plays out as we head to the top of 6, where Yandy Diaz will lead off. A lot of running snafus for the Ninjas here so far. They have not been sneaky in this one. Brayan Bello has been good. And Bello will get Yandy to ground out to short. And that's how the 6th inning gets underway here. They bring up Aaron Judge. And Bello will strike out Aaron Judge looking. Just the 4th strikeout of the day for Bello will bring up Alex Bregman. And Bello will give up a single into center to Bregman. 6th hit of the day for the Ninjas. They actually have more hits than the Bees, just have not been able to take advantage of it. Hunter Goodman at the plate. And Bello will get Goodman to pop up to 3rd. And that's how the top of 6 comes to a close. 4-1. The Bees out in front. Giolito going to be done for the day for the Ninjas. As Tyler Kinley will check in. And Kinley will deal with the bottom of the lineup from the Bees. Corbin Carroll set to lead off. And Carroll will smack a double into center to get things underway. So Kinley came in, throws a meatball, and pays for it. And now Brent Rooker's at the plate. And Rooker will take a walk.
A lot of walks this game.
Indeed, that is the 6th walk issued by the Boise Ninjas. That'll put Stephen Kwan up with 2 on. And if you can believe it, the Bees are 2nd in the league in walks taken. So, not hitting the ball well, but they are getting on base. Stephen Kwan up now. 2 on, nobody down. And Kwan will walk.
Oh, boy.
How's it even possible? That'll bring up Nico Herner with the bases loaded. Infield coming in to try and deal with this. Kinley. A pass ball. How do you want to handle this, brother? That's on the catcher?
Yeah.
Is that an error?
It's unearned, yeah.
Okay. So it's an unearned run. Advances the runner. Corbin Carroll scores, but it's not an RBI. Gotcha. So Herner now. Still up against Kinley. And Herner will smack a single into left. And that'll plate another run. This time it's Brent Rooker coming across. And Tyler Kinley has found himself in a world of trouble with Evan Longoria at the plate. Kinley will get Longoria to fly out to center. Well, let's see what happens here. OBR A or B on 3rd scores. And that will plate the runner. So a sacrifice fly for Evan Longoria as Kwan scores. And that is the first out of the inning to bring up Albert Bell, a man on first. Kinley will deal, and he'll strike out Albert Bell. 2 down for Drake Baldwin. Kinley will strike out Baldwin to end this inning. But the Ninjas the Ninjas give up 3 more runs to the Bees, who have hit the ball well here today. Brayan Bello will stay on the mound to deal with Wilson Contreras. He has the lone run for the Ninjas here in the top of 7. And Bello will get Contreras to fly out to left. 1 down here in the 7th. Bryce Turang at the plate. Bello will give up a single into left to Turang. And that'll bring up L.A. De La Cruz. Bello will get De La Cruz to ground out to the shortstop, and that's a double play. And the Ninjas just cannot get out of their own way today. Bottom of 7 we go. Kinley will have to march back out there and take on Gunnar Henderson. Short leash for him, though. Kinley will strike out Henderson. 3rd straight strikeout for Kinley. That'll bring up Ben Rice. Homered earlier in the game. Kinley will get Rice to ground out off home plate. 2 down. Bring up Corbin Carroll, who got things started last inning. Carroll is out of there as he'll fly out to right to end the inning. So Kenley slows things down there. Top of 8 we go. And Bello is going to be done for the day for the Bees. As Alex Vesia from the Dodgers will come in for him. Trent Gresham will lead off for the Ninjas here in the top of 8. And Vesia will get Grisham to ground out to first. 1 down for Ichiro Suzuki. Vesia will strike out Ichiro. That'll bring up Yandy Diaz. Diaz will take that one high and deep and out of here. Yandy Diaz off of Alex Vesia. That'll be the second run of the day for the Ninjas, but kind of a big hill to climb. Silent but Deadly Diaz. That's a cool nickname. I'll give you credit for that, scoreboard guy. I'll bring up Aaron Judge. No, 2 down. PPBD for Judge. And he will smack it out of here. So back-to-back jack job for the Ninjas as Aaron Judge gets a clutch batting home run off of Vesia. Killer crush. That'll bring up Bregman now. 2 down. Nobody on for Bregman. 7-3 the score. PBCD for Bregman. And he's going to take it yard. Back-to-back-to-back home runs for the Ninjas as Bregman takes this one out of the park. And Vesia has come in, got 2 outs, and has now fallen apart here in the top of the 8th. The stealth plus power Bregman. Vesia going to stay in, but if anything goes wrong from here, Vesia will get Goodman to ground out to short. No error. But 3 runs on the top of the 8th for the Ninjas off back-to-back-to-back home runs will send us to the bottom of the 8th. Where Devin Williams, where Pete Fairbanks will come into the game. So Pete will come in down by 3 here. And he'll have Brent Rooker leading off against him in the bottom of the 8th. And Fairbanks will get Rooker to line out right back to him. Frozen rope. And 1 down. That'll bring up Stephen Kwan. Fairbanks will give up a single into right to Kwan. That'll bring up Nico Herner with 1 on. And Fairbanks will get Herner to pop up to third. So 2 down for Evan Longoria here in the 8th. Pete will wild pitch, and that'll send Kwan to second. Peter will pass ball, and that'll send Kwan to third. So another error on Goodman. And now Longoria finds himself with a runner on third here in the bottom of the 8th. And Fairbanks is going to get Evan Longoria to fly out to left to end the bottom half of the 8th. Well, that seems like that should have been a walk the way that at-bat went. Regardless, top of the 9th we go. Sacramento with a 3-run lead. And they'll bring in Tanner Banks to close it down and get the save, hopefully. Wilson Contreras to lead off for the Ninjas. 3 home runs in the 8th. Get the Ninjas back into this. Let's see what Banks does against the Ninjas here in the 9th. Banks will get Contreras to ground out to short. Now they'll bring up Bryce Turang. And Banks will strike out Turang. And this Sacramento crowd comes to their feet, potentially looking at the first win of the season. Ele De La Cruz. Banks will get De La Cruz to fly out to center. And that's a winner for the Sacramento Bees, as the Ninjas will fall to 1-3 on the season. Sacramento will meet them there at 1-3, getting the win here in this one. Giolito going to be hung with the loss, as the win's going to go to Brayan Bello. Not a great hold from Vesia, but he gets it nonetheless, and Tanner Banks with the save. Player of the game going to wind up being, I guess, Ben Rice, with the 3-run home run in the first inning to get things started. And it was that 4-run first that spurned the Bees to a victory here in this one. Week 4 action continues on. Thanks for watching, and we'll keep the train rolling here.